And welcome back. It's JWalter here, and here's your latest California housing market update. This is my second video I'm making this month. I generally make a two-part video series for the California housing market. I do that twice a month. So in today's video, I'm going to break down how each of the major regions and how each of the major counties in California fared, because there's some pretty big differences. If you missed my previous video I posted last week, I went over a general overview about the California housing market as a whole. So I'll leave a link below in case you missed that video. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into today's video. This is actually just published on the 17th of May. And to give you a general overview, home prices reached all-time record highs. The median sold price in April reached $885,000. That's $885,000. That's an 8.7% increase compared to April 2021. And by the way, this is the second consecutive month that we've reached record high home prices in California, at least according to the California Association of Realtors here. Home sales also decreased compared to 1 month ago, and also decreased compared to April 2021 as well. And again, I'm going to be going over how each of the counties in California fared because there's definitely some big differences across the board here. Year to date, home sales are down 7.4% in April. So as a whole, that's what's going on in the California housing market. However, I went into great detail in my previous video. I'll leave a link below for you guys in case you missed it. So CAR Vice President and Chief Economist Jordan Levine had this to say: California's housing market is moderating from the 12-year highs experienced in 2021, as higher mortgage rates and soaring home prices are starting to have an adverse impact on housing demand. Okay, let's first talk about home sales, then let's talk about home prices in California. So home sales in all major California regions declined from 1 year ago. There are approximately 7 major regions in California, so all of them declined on a year-over-year basis for the number of home sales. The Central Coast region continued to have the biggest decline of all regions in April, with sales dropping 21.3% from 1 year ago. Again, this is April 2021 to April 2022, the most recent data we have from the California Association of Realtors. Despite being down sharply in the Central Coast from last year's unusually high levels, April's sales in the Central Coast were only down 2.1% from the pre-pandemic average. This is very important to note this because in the Central Coast, home sales went up greatly in August of 2021. This is because on a year-over-year basis, they increased greatly because in April 2020, home sales absolutely tanked. So when you compare year-over-year gains in 2020 to 2021, the levels were very much elevated. So therefore, we're looking at year-over-year numbers for April 2022 compared to April 2021. The numbers are going to feel a lot less. So it's very important to note here that even though sales declined by 21% compared to 1 month ago, this is only down 2.1% from the pre-pandemic average. So in other words, home sales for April in the Central Coast region were only down 2.1% pre-COVID. On top of this, more than 4 in 5 of all counties tracked by CAR experienced a sales decline from a year ago in April 2022, compared to nearly 2 in 3 in the prior month. So in March 2022, 2 out of every 3 counties had a decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago, and now it's approximately 4 out of every 5 counties had a decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. In contrast, though, only 9 counties record a sales increase on a year-over-year basis in April. Compare that to 19 counties in March. In regards to home prices, at a regional level, home prices in all major California regions except the far north continue to surge from last year by double digits, with 3 of them reaching a new record high in April. And the San Francisco Bay Area recorded the highest year-over-year price growth with an increase of 15.9% compared to 1 year ago. That was followed by the Central Valley at 14.9%, the Central Coast, Southern California, and the far north at 8.9% increase. On top of this, at the county level, home prices continue to rise across the state, with 26 counties out of the 51 setting new record median highs in April. What we're starting to see right now in California and also across the United States, frankly, is an increase of housing inventory. So in California in April, housing inventory, or the number of active listings, increased by more than 20%. This is the highest yearly growth in properties for sale since January of 2019. The number of active listings climbed to the highest level in the last 7 months. And check this out, because 40 out of the 51 counties that are tracked by the California Association of Realtors recorded an increase of active listings on a year-over-year basis compared to 36 counties in March. Okay, I have some graphics I want to share with you guys, and then I'm going to be sharing how each of the major counties in California fared, because as I mentioned, there's some pretty big differences. So again, this is according to the California Association of Realtors for April 2022. This was just released last week. So overall in California, we reached an all-time high for the second consecutive month. The median sold price is $884,000. Compare that to the national average. The national average is less than $400,000. So obviously you pay to live in California. The unsold inventory index, although it increased compared to 1 year ago, we're still only at 1.8 months. In order to have a balanced real estate market, we need this figure to be around 4 to 6 months, not 1.8 months. However, a step in the right direction though. Houses on average are also selling very quickly. 8 days is the average or the median days on the market. So here's what's going on in Southern California. The median sold price in April was $837,000. That's 11.7% increase compared to 1 month ago. The unsold inventory index and days on the market is basically on par with the state, but the sales price to list price ratio was 104.2%. What this basically means is that out of all the home sales in April, home sellers sold their houses for 4.2% more than their asking price in Southern California. Also, the number of home sales in Southern California decreased overall this year and also compared to 1 year ago as well. In the Central Coast, we also had a big decrease of existing home sales, a decrease of 21% compared to April 2021. And meanwhile, the median sold price went over $1 million. Meanwhile, April's median sold price was $1.05 million. That's a 13.4% increase compared to 1 year ago. Inventory and also days on the market is basically on par with the state averages. And the sales price to list price ratio was slightly less than Southern California at 102.9%. In the Central Valley, where I live and work as a real estate agent here in Sacramento, existing home sales decreased only by 5.4% compared to 1 year ago. A big difference compared to Central Coast, where they had a decrease of 21%. Overall, the median sold price reached $500,000. That's a gain of 14.9%. Again, inventory, days on the market, and also the sales price to list price ratio is on par with the state averages here. The Bay Area, look at this. The median sold price, $1.54 million for the median price home in the Bay Area. That's a big increase of 15.9% from 1 year ago. And sales decreased by double digits as well here. Days on the market and also the inventory index basically on par with the state. But look at this, the sales price to list price ratio was 111.6%. So on average, home sellers sold their houses, which by the way, the median sold price is $1.5 million. They sold their houses for basically 11% over their asking price. This is fairly common though, because a lot of houses that get priced in the Bay Area, especially in San Francisco, get priced for far less than they know they're going to be sold for. So that's one reason why we're seeing this big increase in this ratio here. In the far north, the most affordable region here in California, the median sold price was $400,000, and gain of 8.9%. The unsold inventory index is always higher. Also, days on the market is also higher compared to other regions as well. And this ratio here is also lower than the state averages as well. And that's what we've been seeing overall over the past several months. So the number of home sales in California had the biggest drop so far this year. The number of home sales decreased by 8.5% compared to a year ago. Home sales in the San Francisco Bay Area had the biggest sales decline since April 2021. Again, an 18.1% decrease compared to 1 year ago. In Southern California, home sales also had the biggest decline since May of 2020, decreasing by 16%. In the Central Valley, though, it only decreased by 5.4%. However, this is the first decrease this year. So here's the number of home sales by region in April 2022. As you can see here, the number of home sales is the biggest in Southern California. That represents 46% of all home sales in April. The San Francisco Bay Area represented 20%, the Central Valley 22%. And here's the percent decrease in home sales in April 2022 compared to April 2021 by region. As you can see here, the Central Coast had the biggest decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. It decreased by 21.3%. The San Francisco Bay Area decreased by 18.1%. In stark contrast though, the Central Valley only decreased by 5.4%. And as I mentioned in my previous video, pending sales had the worst decline in 2 years in California. So the number of pending home sales in April 2022 compared to April 2021 decreased by almost 25%. Again, a pending home sale is when a home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer. The big significance regarding this, because we have a big decrease in pending home sales in April, is because we had a big increase in active listings in April. So active listings increased by 23.6% in April compared to 1 year ago, the biggest increase since January of 2019. In any case, this is a very important metric to track, because if we start seeing more and more pending home sales decrease, yet we have an increase of active listings, this could be a definite sign that our housing market is slowing down. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about home prices in California. Again, they reached all-time record highs for the second consecutive month, big increases over the past 2 months here, and also compared to 1 month ago as well, 4.2% gain. Also, we reached all-time record highs for condos and townhomes as well. The median sold price for April 2022 for condos and townhomes reached $700,000. Compared to 1 year ago, it was only $570,000. On top of this, we also reached an all-time record high for the price per square foot in California as well, at over $400 per square foot. All right, so here's the share of houses that sold above their asking price by county. So in Alameda County, which is in the Bay Area, 92% of the houses that sold in April sold for over the asking price. That was followed by Santa Clara, San Francisco, Contra Costa, Marin, San Mateo, and Sonoma, basically all in the Bay Area, and over 75%. In stark contrast though, in Plumas County, which is approximately 45 minutes north of Sacramento, only 14% sold for over their asking price in April. That was followed by Lassen County, Lake, Siskiyou, Mariposa, and Mendocino counties as well. Also in Sacramento, where I live, over 70% sold for over their asking price in April. Okay, let me give you an update regarding housing inventory and active listings in California. So inventory slightly increased compared to 1 year ago. The month supply is sitting at 1.8 months. So as you can see here, we had a slight increase compared to 1 year ago. However, we're still at very low levels, especially when you compare that to 2006, really all the way until 2012. So here's a mind-blowing graphic that I want to share with you guys. I probably should have shared this with you at the very beginning of this video, but this is the biggest aha moment I had regarding this housing market in 2022 for April, I should say. So supply conditions begin to improve in all major regions, but have a look at the number of home sales compared to active listings. So as you can see here, for each of these 5 major regions, we had a big increase by double digits, except for the Central Coast, for the number of active listings in April 2022. However, though, look at the number of home sales. So even though we have more active listings, which means we have more houses listed for sale, we had a big decrease of home sales. So in the San Francisco Bay Area, the number of home sales decreased by 18.1% compared to 1 year ago. However, they saw an 11% gain in active listings. So if we were to see a very strong housing market where housing demand is off the hooks, it's very, very strong. In that scenario, if we saw a big increase of active listings, we should see a big increase of home sales. However, we're seeing the opposite though, because look at that. Every single region here had a big increase of active listings, however, a big decrease in home sales. So for example, in Southern California, sales declined by 16%. However, they saw a 20% gain in active listings. The Central Valley, where I live and work as a real estate agent, we have an increase of 36.1%. And by the way, in the greater Sacramento area, we saw a gain of over 50% of active listings in March 2022 compared to April 2022. So a big increase in one single month. It appears that a lot of people are looking to get their houses sold before this housing market cools off further. As you can see here, by this 36.1% increase of active listings, but the number of home sales declined by 5.4%. And here's another mind-blowing stat here, because here's housing supply by county level compared to 1 year ago. Again, housing supply is another word for housing inventory. So as you can see here, we had an increase of housing supply in all but 10 of the counties in California. So there are approximately 51 counties that the California Association of Realtors tracks housing market data, only 10 of those had a decrease of housing supply compared to 1 year ago. All the other counties had an increase of housing supply compared to 1 year ago. Have a look at Yuba County, which is approximately, half an hour north of Sacramento. They had a 177% increase of active listings compared to 1 year ago, far surpassing than any other county in the state here. That was followed by Sutter, Glen, Merced, Mendocino, San Benito, and Amador counties as well, all increasing by more than 50% compared to 1 year ago. In stark contrast though, in Madera County, they had a decrease of 82% compared to 1 year ago in the number of active listings. That was followed by Mariposa, Sonoma, Mono, Lassen, and San Francisco and San Luis Obispo. Okay, that's the graphics I want to share with you guys, but let's talk about how each of the major counties fared regarding home prices and also home sales on a month-to-month and also on a year-over-year basis here. And again, the median sold price for a single-family house in California reached an all-time record high of $885,000. The previous record high was actually set in March of 2022 at $849,000. Increase of 8.7% compared to 1 year ago. However, it decreased both on a month-to-month and also on a year-to-year basis here. California townhomes also had a big increase of 22.8% for home sales compared to 1 year ago. Something else I should bring to your attention here is that the Central Coast and the far north were the only regions in California that did not post a new record home price. All these other regions in California, which were Los Angeles, the Central Valley, Inland Empire, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Southern California all reached record high home prices. The Central Coast, the median sold price in April was $1.05 million. That's basically flat compared to 1 month ago. Inland Empire also was flat compared to 1 month ago as well. But in the Central Coast, home prices increased by 13.4%. Sales increased by 5.7%, but compared to 1 year ago, they actually declined quite a bit by 21%. The far north had the least gains for home prices compared to 1 year ago. In contrast though, in Inland Empire, they have an increase by 16%, the biggest increase out of all these major regions in California. The far north was the most affordable region in California. The median sold price is $400,000. The least affordable, of course, was in the San Francisco Bay Area, $1.54 million. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the San Francisco Bay Area. Have a look at these prices though, pretty astonishing. So in San Francisco, basically $2.1 million was the median sold price. In San Mateo, $2.4 million. Look at that, a 20% increase compared to 1 year ago when home prices were only $2 million. So now they're $2.4 million. Napa increased by 8.1%. Look at this, Marin County prices increased by 21.6% on a month-to-month basis, but increased by 31% from a year ago. Contra Costa County only increased by 6.1%. Also important to note regarding the San Francisco Bay Area is that the number of home sales compared to 1 year ago declined in all these counties in the Bay Area. Okay, let's talk about Southern California. So Orange County also led the pack with the highest median sold price at $1.3 million. That's a gain of 20.5%. A lot of you ask about Riverside, San Diego, and also Ventura. So Riverside, the median sold price was $630,000. San Diego was $975,000 compared to $825,000 from 1 year ago. Ventura, $955,000. 1 year ago was $865,000. That's a gain of 10.4%. Riverside had a gain of 15.5%. And again, all these counties within Southern California had a decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. Okay, let's talk about the Central Coast. In Monterey, which is near Carmel, approximately 2 hours south of San Francisco, the median sold price was $903,000. That's actually an increase of only by 7.6%. Sales actually declined quite a bit compared to 1 month ago, decreased by 19% from March of 2022. Compare that to San Luis Obispo, they had an increase of home sales compared to 1 month ago by 25.5%. Santa Cruz, where I went to school at UC Santa Cruz, the median sold price was $1.4 million. That's actually a decrease by 11.9% compared to 1 month ago. However, home prices increased by 11.5% still from April 2021. So in the Central Valley region of California, Glen County, have a look at this. In Glen County, they had a 7% decrease in home prices compared to 1 year ago. One of the very few regions we saw home prices decrease compared to 1 year ago. So right now, home prices are at $281,000. 1 year ago was 302,000. Also, the number of home sales declined quite a bit on a month-to-month basis and also declined by 42% from April of 2021. In Placer County, which is basically borders with Sacramento County, median sold price $717,000. In Sacramento, $570,000. 1 year ago in Sacramento, or Sacramento County, it was $490,000. That's a gain of 16% compared to 1 year ago. Here's something I also found to be very interesting as well, because in Plumas County, which is again approximately an hour north of Sacramento, the median sold price decreased from $400,000 to $350,000 in 1 year. So it decreased by 12.5%. And I remember when I was making these videos approximately a year or two ago, the number of home sales and also home prices in Plumas County absolutely skyrocketed. So it's interesting to see that we're starting to see home prices soften in this county. And before we wrap up this video, here's some other metrics I want to share with you guys. So in Humboldt County, which is on the far north of California, the number of home sales from 1 year ago increased by 10%. We also had an 18% increase in Mariposa County and a 25% increase in Sutter, a 13% increase in Tuolumne, and a 43% increase in Yuba. But have a look at Mono County. If anyone knows what's going on with Mono County, if anyone who lives there, look at this because this is highly unusual. The median sold price for April 2022 was $2.3 million. So in one single month, home prices, or the median sold price, increased by 115%. Also, home sales also decreased by 70%. So I'm guessing there must have been a gigantic home sale that occurred in April 2022 to really skew these figures here. So comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.